So, Lerato, I'm going to start with you. How has it been, logistically, organizationally wise, since, the voting closed?
Thanks and good morning to everyone. It's been hectic. I mean, I think after the public votes, which were met with a lot of fanfare and excitement, those results have to be sort of taken to the auditors, because it must be an objective and unanimous thing. So then they get tallied up, and then obviously the public votes count for 20% of the overall mark. And yeah, so that's still sort of getting done and getting sorted. So yeah, I think we're all just ready now to hear the winners.
Are you able to tell us in terms of percentage or even in numbers how the public, participated in the public vote?
I don't have them at the moment. I know when I last spoke to the rest of the team, they were still with the auditors. So I think, once we get to the end of everything and we have an idea, we can release that. But at the moment, I don't have the full audited results. But I mean, I know, judging by the website crashing and we had to boost things up, there was a lot of traffic. So I think, there was a lot of interest, and it's great to see everybody supporting their favorites out there.
Babalwa, I wanted to ask you, you're nominated in 3 categories, Woman of the Year, Global Woman in Sport, and Athlete of the Year. How has the year generally been for you? And are these nominations a reflection of the kind of year that you have had?
Well, on a personal level, I think the 2019-2020 season was a fantastic season for me. Excuse me, such a lot has happened. Things that I can count as milestones in my career and in women's rugby as well. So, I think that the award nominations could be a reflection of the type of season that I had. But as you know, we do what we love. That sport purely because we love it, and then the accolades always come as a secondary thing. So I appreciate it a lot. Really, I still get goosebumps just thinking about what GSport has been doing for women's sport in this country over the years, and now that I'm in I'll probably say 5-6 years into my career, I'm also benefiting from the hard work that has been put in throughout the year. So it's absolutely amazing, really, and very grateful to them for giving us the recognition that we so rightfully deserve as sportswomen in this country.
Nontuthuko, you've also been nominated in a new category, African Woman in Sport, and with trailblazers as well in that category. How do you feel about your nomination?
Yeah, thanks, Lethabo. I think Babala has rightfully said it. We do what we do because of the love of it. And really, the recognition of being nominated is a cherry on top. It's really humbling. And again, more than anything else, I think it just does center your soul to say, I guess I'm reaching out to many lives. I'm inspiring others. I need to continue to do what I love doing. And for me, it was really quite humbling. I didn't expect it. And it's a new category. I was not even aware that there's also a category of African woman in sport. So it was really quite humbling. And it's so great that it started when the project of building the school had just started. So it was quite humbling. And I'm really quite grateful. And just by being a finalist, really, I'm not overly absorbed by the outcome. Just being a finalist is humbling enough.
Just tell us a little bit about that project where you ran this year in the Global Marathon to benefit the renovation of the school. Tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks, Lethabo. Yes, in February, I ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 successive days. I obviously did that because I love adventure. I love pushing the limits. I always love doing those things that give me those goosebumps. And it's so funny. I mean, I look at my profile as interesting because I'm not really an athlete that goes out there to run to get a podium. I do what I do mostly because I love adventure, those scary things that when you're about to do them, you're not sure if you're going to come out alive or in one piece or as you entered. And more than anything, because also I run a project, Go Beyond for a Child, which looks at giving opportunities to children from a rural village. I'm a rural village girl myself, so I have to say I'm very biased towards girls from the rural village because I know what it's like to be out of sight and be out of mind. I know what it's like to be in a classroom where there's over 100 learners, where you are almost just a number because the teacher cannot even recognize if you're at school or you're not. So when I ran the 7 marathons, I ran it in aid of Kipinkuzi Primary School, a school whereby in one classroom, they have over 100 learners. Then my objective was to raise money to build 5 classrooms. The classrooms are being built as we speak. The project should be completed in November.
Congratulations on that. That on its own, I feel like that makes you a winner in my eyes and everything. But also you are the first woman to have run in a world marathon, you know. And it's a question I'm also going to pose to Babala as well. The issue of being a first and perhaps only the only as well. Is that a does it come with responsibility or does it come with a burden?
Yeah, for me, to be quite honest with you, it's good to be first. The problem starts when you become the only. And it does not always necessarily mean that there must be another lady who will run the 7 marathons, etc., but who will be groundbreaking in whatever, who can say, I drew inspiration, strength, and support from what Nontu did or from what Babalwa did. So I think more than anything else, you know what, truth be told, it's lonely being the only one. It's like being the only lady in a boardroom. As much as the human temptation of loving, being the center of attention may be there, but at the end of the day, life is about connecting. It's about belonging. It can be lonely when you're the only one because now it means you cannot even share shared experience. So for me, I really would love to actually inspire more women who will go out there, be it running the 7 marathons or summiting Mount whatever, Mount Elbrus, Mount Kili, or even Everest. So it is about actually going out there now and inspire others, because by being who you are, you're actually giving others also a permission of being themselves, of owning their success.
Babala, you are the first African woman rugby player to play professional rugby. I'm posing that question again that I posed to Nontu, that does that come with a responsibility or with a burden perhaps in your field?
I think that Mrs. Nontu has summed it up incredibly well. I honestly don't feel that there's a pressure or any kind of, you know, negative type of pressure, if I may call it that. But I do feel that it is my responsibility to advance our game so much that we get a lot more other female rugby players from South Africa, from our continent, to get similar opportunities. When I left, there wasn't a blueprint as to how to. I had to learn as I went along. So now that someone has done it, we've seen it, we've proven it. I would love to see a lot more other, you know, female rugby players do the same. Not necessarily follow in my footsteps; those are mine. I want them to go further and beyond, to, you know, to trail their own, or to blaze their own trail. You know, I could be. Well, it's I for now because no one else. But I hate using the word I. But you know, for now, no one else has done it. So I can be a point of reference, but it just you know, shakes me up inside knowing that there's no one else for now. So I'd honestly really love to see our game grow so much that it's normal. I love what Banyana has done and has been doing. You know, every other week we read about the fact that there's another player playing professionally overseas. So I'd love to see that with the rugby. And I think that it's a responsibility that I embrace every day. You know, I get asked so many questions. How can I do it? You know, how do I go about, you know, finding a team and things like that? So I think those things are the least I can do in terms of trying to facilitate some kind of a change within our sport.
Also, we know here at home, rugby is not professional for women. Do you feel that your achievement should also assist, you know, in also trying to get the authorities to do what's right in terms of professionalizing the sport for women here at home?
Look, I honestly feel that on my own, as a standalone person, I can't achieve much. That's why I need our sisters to come on board. I really need, you know, for us to put in a team effort. We should hunt in packs. That's what I call it, you know. But I think that if more of similar stories like this could happen, then I think it would put enough pressure on the authorities to actually start recognizing the game. But I honestly feel that on my own, I'm powerless. I need my tribe, you know. I need fellow women in sport to actually drive that force. If anything, if they've ever needed evidence on whether or not it can be done successfully, we have it. We are living testament to that. So I think, you know, the time has come that we take some huge steps towards that direction.
Lerato, obviously this year has seen so many things done virtually, you know, even I think the marketing as well and the promotion of the awards have also gone virtual. There's certain things that GSport has been doing, like the master classes. Tell us a little bit about some of those projects that you're working with for GSport15 specifically.
I think COVID has been such a blessing in disguise, because you've seen so many, I won't just say athletes, but, you know, other brands taking ownership of their digital brand and doing a lot to promote themselves digitally. And I certainly think, COVID or no COVID, that's where the future is. And I've been happy to see people, you know, starting their campaigns, and, you know, it's encouraging. But from a GSport point of view, I mean, I think, you know, getting the excitement going, because things are different now. You can't have a press conference, you can't have an event, but, you know, we'd have our weekly IG classes, and that's really also helping to profile our athletes. I think our mandate, you know, throughout the month is to give all our athletes, all the finalists, a platform to tell their story and to share their successes. And the IG Live was that. And last Sunday we had the media masterclass, which for me is really a passionate thing. I think the GSport community is a community of members who are yearning for knowledge, you know, not just exposure, not just a voice to be heard, but, you know, we have so many finalists who are experts in their field, you know, from TV, radio, print. And so we wanted to get together and share that knowledge. You know, a lot of people are trying to aspire to get into the sports industry, and it's a hard one. It is male dominated. There is discrimination. You have to work longer and harder to prove yourself as a woman. And, you know, sharing those stories was really great on the masterclass. So that's what we're trying to do. And the feedback has been great, you know. And I think it shows that we probably have to have a lot more so that we can continue these conversations and skills sharing.
Nontu, you are a 5-time Comrades Marathon finisher. No Comrades in 2020 due to COVID. Have you been taking part in any of the virtual marathons? What have you been doing?
Yeah, it's interesting you've asked that question, because initially, when you remember, Comrades was actually, I think, one of the last races that cancelled. So after we obviously had to deal with disappointment of Two Oceans, which we made peace with a lot earlier, then came Comrades. Initially, I was like, I'm not going to do a virtual thing. It's not the real thing. I want to feel the polish shots. I'm just not entering for the virtual thing. And I think just about a week before the race, and I started already imagining not running, and I started feeling that FOMO, and I was like, no, let me do it. And then, but I was really not motivated to do it. I must be honest with you, though I was exercising, fit, good to go. And then I thought, let me pair it with my love of helping people. So I thought, let me do the 45-kilometer and raise money to feed 45 families with food parcels to the value of 900 Rand to 1,000 each. Then I did that. And again, it was short notice. I realized that I might actually struggle to raise 50,000 within a week. So I said, I will actually donate half of whatever I raise. So if I raise 20,000, I will donate 20,000 from my pocket so that we can reach out to 45 families. Needless to say that then I decided I'm going to run on the route to add some fun into it. So yes, and then I was able to raise money enough, match with my half, to be able to feed 60 families. So that's how successful this year's Comrades Marathon was. And I looked back and I said, you know what, Nontu, start keeping an open mind in life, because I not only almost missed out on participating in running, but I also almost denied 60 families an opportunity to get food parcels who are in need, especially during COVID-19.
Wow, wow. I think there'll be so many impacts that come with COVID-19. I just want to move a little bit to Baba. What do you feel like the impacts have been, and especially for women's rugby, obviously Lerato has been talking about the positive impacts that have come, in terms of the digital movement of doing things, and even with Unontu as well, that the digital benefits that she did that resulted in also the benefits of charity work and whatnot. For you on your side, have the impacts also been positive, blah blah blah, or have they been on the negative?
I think it's a bit of both, really. Rugby, unlike any other sport, is one sport that you can't do virtually because it's a contact sport. And COVID-19 has taken that away from our rugby. Our favorite sport, or the sport that we love, has been taken away from us. But I think the best thing has been that I feel that I've grown closer to my team, or we've grown closer because we communicate a lot more regularly now, because we're so far away from each other. We've missed out on games, we've missed out on camp. So I think that if anything, we've drawn closer, as a team, even though we are, scattered all over the country. And if I have to be honest with you, the unfortunate part is that particularly women's rugby has always been in the bad foot in South Africa. So now that we're battling with COVID, it has almost sort of amplified that. Yeah, we now see things that we've always known were there, but now we just seeing it a lot more. The obvious lack of funds, of sponsorship assistance is becoming. We're feeling it a lot more now, more than any other time. But I honestly feel as well that our sport is growing, and I genuinely don't feel that it should stop because we're now faced with something that is completely out of our hands. But on a personal level, I've learned so much from the whole lockdown and the situation with COVID-19. I actually appreciate the little things a lot more. I appreciate my health, my mental health, as well, emotional health and physical health. I appreciate the fact that I have a loving family. I know for sure that I won't go, without food in my belly, and others don't have that privilege, and which is why I just, feel so very strongly about the fact that we should all play our part and try to help out as much as possible. And I must commend you, Sister Nontuthuko, for the incredible work that you have done and are continuing to do, for your communities and everything. So it's now is the time more than ever that we put a far greater effort in terms of reaching out and help, and not so much focus on what we as individuals have lost, and what we should have gained, what should have happened, and everything like that. I'm looking forward to the time when we can actually, go outside and be on the fields and do what we love. But for now, we just have to deal with the type of situation.
A question for the three of you. I'll start with Lerato, then move to Sis Nontu, and then to Baba. Issues of transformation have also come to the fore during COVID-19, and especially in rugby and in cricket as well. Are we also speaking enough about those issues in women's sport, and especially with women, it's gender transformation. It's not just the racial issues as well. Are we speaking enough about that? Are we also seizing this opportunity during this COVID-19 to also add our voice to this troubling conversations?
I don't think you can speak enough about it. I'm sure now with COVID, because there is no live action to distract us, that's why I feel the conversation has come. And you know, it's a pity to hear some of those stories, you know. I feel, you know, with athletes, when even if you're an administrator or you know, a president, you're putting in the hard work into the field that you love. And, you know, I feel that opportunity is important, and the quality of opportunity that you're given in order to transform the sport is important. I mean, you can't just tick boxes and want to see real transformation happening. And I think that's what a lot of federations do, you know, because government has the mandate, they just want to tick boxes. I think it's really important, you know, to hear those stories and to have conversations around it. You know, everybody's has a lived experience, and it's really been sad to hear about it. And I think we really need to talk about it more.
Nontuthuko?
Yeah, I think it's true. But we need to be a lot more brave as well, because when you are decisive and when you discriminate even fairly, you obviously stand a chance of being labeled many things, either feminist or hate men, etc. So we need to be brave and say, yes, it is what you want to believe it is. Bad luck. I mean, I'll make an example with myself at work. When I am recruiting, be it head of IR, employment and benefits, I tell HR, bring me only Black female CVs. And I do that knowing that I risk being labeled as known to only want to support women. At the school, Keeping Kunzi Primary School, I started a Go Beyond for a Girl Child, where it's an academy for 20 girls, whom all I'm doing is leveraging their leadership. All I'm doing is just to make them know they are enough. When they grow up, they don't need to get a boyfriend so that they feel good. When they grow up, it is okay not to want to have children. It's a choice. It does not make you less of a woman. When you grow up, getting married, it shouldn't be a dream. There are many better things to dream. You are called on earth not to be just a wife and just a mother. If that happens, it should not necessarily mean that that's your calling on earth. And people ask me a lot of questions, because I also support the 20 girls in terms of seeing that they overcome stumbling blocks that they have. For example, they don't have school books, maybe uniform, maybe food, etc. And people ask, why are you not supporting a boy child? And for me, it's sad that in 2020, we're still talking about why only women? Why only Black women? When disparities are so glaring. It is okay as South Africans to talk about a triple BEE, but when we talk about gender transformation, it gets personal. You are a feminist when you talk about gender transformation, right? Mm-hmm. And a feminist that is described as a woman that hates men, when you actually don't hate men, but you hate inequalities.
Totally. Babalo, your take on this?
Wow. Yeah. It's just, you know, it's heartbreaking, really, that in this day and age, you know, we still need to fight. We still need to go further and beyond to be recognized as not only as women, but as Black, talented women in this country. You know, it just frustrates me sometimes, but then I just return to myself and understand why, you know, we do what we do, because I've also learned over the years that you become annoying to so many people when you're constantly speaking about transformation, gender equality, and all of those things. And, you know, people tend to don't want to associate themselves with you too much, because you already your appearance and the sport in which you partake in, you know, that in itself, you know, there's a stigma, if I may call it, attached to it. Now, on top of that, you're preaching the fact that, hey, pay some attention. We are not just female rugby players, but we are rugby players, period. You know, so it's honestly frustrating and sad as well that, you know, we need to be you know, harping on these things, but it must happen. you know, we must raise our voices. We must stand up and be counted towards effecting, you know, positive changes with, you know, gender relations in this country. And I think that, you know, with the generation of strong, independent, and you know, vocal women that I've had the privilege within sport and outside as well of interacting with, I'm very much inspired by them, and it also gives me courage, you know, to continue to speak truth to power, even risking losing my career, you know, even risking not being selected or getting into trouble, as they put it, with the big bosses, as they always say. It's just mind blowing that you know, we must experience such. But again, these things must be done, they must be said, and things must change in our lifetime. We cannot be sitting with situations or experiencing situations that our mothers and grandmothers were faced with, you know. So I think that change will come through us. It's because of our being active and being activists that things will start to change for the next young generation of sports women and just women in general.
Last question. Lerato, what can the public expect next week? It's 7 days from today until the next Monday for the veteran event. What can the public expect? And then, Nontuthuko, would you like to win this award? And then, Babalwa, 3 awards. Which one is more important for you, that you feel that if I win this one, I will sleep better? And yeah, it is what it is. Let's start with Lerato.
I think a celebration. We don't have the luxury of having an event and going big, but you know, the big mandate is to make a big fuss about, you know, all the winners and the finalists, because I mean, it's almost like, okay, you know how South Africa is August and then it's Women's Month and then people make a big fuss and then come September we move on, you know. But yeah, but you know, for G Sport, I think it's a whole year thing, and it all culminates with the awards. And I don't think, you know, it's a thing about being a loser or a winner. You know, for me, it's about sharing success and sharing your story. We've had such an honor of hearing 56 different stories from all our finalists, and it's been so humbling to see what, you know, some sporting codes you don't know about, you've never heard of, but to see those stories out there and those ladies getting the recognition they deserve, for me, has been the highlight. So I think, yeah, it's a celebration, and, you know, it's us as women coming together as a community and like bumping each other up and celebrating with each other. That's what I can say it'll be.
You are nominated for Trailblazers in your category, Asha Komukisha and Ms. Nyandeiro as well. Would you like to win this award?
It's interesting you've asked the question. One thing for sure, this process has helped me embrace my vulnerability a lot. When I learned that I was nominated, I had mixed emotions because of my sometimes natural tendency to want to do something that I can somehow control and control the outcome. So the feeling of going out there and begging people for votes didn't sit so well with me. I have to be honest with you. And I reflected and said, why am I feeling so uncomfortable about this whole thing? To a point where initially, if you notice my social media, I only started asking for votes already, I think 7 or 10 days later, when someone prominent, I'm not going to mention a name, called me and said, Nontu, why are you self-sabotaging? You should go out there and ask people to vote for you. So it has helped me embrace my vulnerability, because I reflected and I said, why? And the answer is simple. It was the fear of losing. Then when I embraced my vulnerability, that's when I said, you know what? Courage is not about winning or losing. It's about showing up, and I'm showing up. So I am very grateful, immensely grateful of the platform that GSport has provided. It goes to show that actually the joy is in the process, it's in the journey, not in arrival. Think about when you go to that, your wildest dream holiday. Actually, the joy is in the anticipation of the holiday, not in the holiday itself. So I have thoroughly enjoyed the anticipation. The process itself has been just enough.
I keep telling Nontu that she needs to be a motivational speaker. Ever since I got to know her last month, and I watch her interviews, and she's just, I'm like, more people need to hear what's in your head, because it's just amazing.
I couldn't agree more with you, Lerato. Like, totally agree with you that why is she sitting with so much, you know, fire, and we are not hearing it enough. Like, I am just overwhelmed right now. So Babalwa, 3 categories. Which one, if you win it, or even all of them, would you like to just do a clean sweep?
You know, this is not just filling my heart with everything warm and good. Yes. You know what? I've been asked this question before, and the the little girl in me says, I want them all. I want everything. You know, when you're 6 years old, you want all the sweets. But I think the more mature Babala, the Babala who understands the responsibility that comes with being a sports person who is from Kailincha, I always say it's one of the townships that are considered to be quite notorious. You know, statistically, more than one bad thing should have happened to me already, you know, but to be a person who comes from that place, who has a lived experience of it, and still goes further and beyond the average or what is expected of someone who comes from such a place. To me, I think being nominated for 3 awards it just adds to the dispelling of the, I call it a myth or the stereotype of that nothing good can come from a township or even a rural area. You know, we just there. We just there, you know. So, you know, in all honesty, for me, the nominations itself, it means not only to myself, but it also means that to any other girl, young girl in particular, young black girl, who has ever aspired to be a sports person or who has ever dreamed to be, I want to be a rugby player. They have a point of reference. And the positive point of reference that, hey, look, we have someone like Baba, we have someone like the Springboks as well, who are doing such amazing things in our communities and in our country. Why can't I do it? You know, so that for me has been the driving force. Well, now I've been that person before. I remember I looked up to Portia Modise a lot because I thought that I would become a soccer player. I'd play for Banyana, you know, I'll travel the world, I'll change this and that, but that never materialized. You know, destiny, it just showed me a different path. But the long and short answer is that naturally I would like to win, but that's an extra, that's a cherry on top. You know, I think that the recognition that my sport has been getting, that women across the country, across the continent, actually in sport has been getting is just absolutely phenomenal. And I just love what has been happening, even, you know, before the beginning of the award ceremony. So again, good luck to all the other finalists and nominees. And you know, I think this is a beautiful celebration of women in sport in our country, which we must embrace.
Lerato Malikutu, PR manager, GSport15, Nontuthuko Mgabhi, GSport African Women in Sport finalist, Babalwa Lacha, Athlete of the Year, Woman of the Year, and Global Woman of the Year finalist. Thank you so much, ladies, for giving me your time this morning and for sharing and for being honest in conversation. And I wish you all the best for next week and for everything that you'll be doing in promoting women in sport and yeah, in all of your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.